Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like button, make sure you are subscribing and download OneFootball right now. Quite a number of transfer stories to talk to you about today. Get your opinion on, because they're so interesting, especially when it comes to Chelsea. We're going to be looking at an Arsenal story from the Mirror today as well, plus some big news surrounding Manchester United as well. I want to start with Chelsea, though, today. I want to start with Chelsea because we all saw the news that broke yesterday about Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Pretty soon after David Ornstein reported that Chelsea had made initial contacts over the deal, who, by the way, is eager to make the switch. Dewsbury-Hall would love to go and play for Chelsea. It was said that Brighton's move for Dewsbury-Hall was in the 11th hour. That it was close to happening, that it was almost done, that it was likely to get over the line. But Chelsea pushing hard. So there's almost this air of confusion across social media that states, well, David Ornstein has said that Chelsea have gone in for him, but yet his deal to Brighton is almost complete. How can this be the case? Has Ornstein got this wrong? Rarely. Very, very rarely. Ornstein, some people don't like it because he reports on deals when they're almost done, as opposed to in the early stages. I don't really give a damn. I just, the news is the news. It does appear, though, that Chelsea are trying to complete a £35 million deal, but to hijack Brighton's attempt to sign him. So, first of all, Brighton fans, I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on this. How are you feeling about this potential hijack? And Chelsea fans, you've had 12 to 24 hours to digest this news now. How are you feeling about it? Now, along with KDH, as everybody's referring to him now, Chelsea also want the Leeds star Archie Gray. Now, this is according to the Telegraph. We know that Chelsea are keen on Dewsbury-Hall, but they're also keen on the young 18-year-old from Leeds United. He says we can add Archie Gray to the ever-growing list of summer Chelsea transfer targets. It appears the teenage midfielder is attracting high-profile interest after Leeds failed to secure promotion straight back to the Premier League last season, ousted narrowly by Southend in the playoff final at Wembley. Now, I've heard a lot. I've got a few friends that support Leeds, and I've heard a lot of great things about this young man, and he certainly fits the profile of which Chelsea are typically trying to buy. Young and highly talented. That is what they're going for. Young and highly talented. You're either going to be a star for our team now and in the future, or we're going to sell you at a profit and reinvest that money back into the club. That is the plan of which Chelsea are telling everybody publicly. I think both these signings would be excellent for Chelsea. Yes, Archie Gray is young, but he's immensely talented. Immensely talented. Dewsbury-Hall, he isn't as young as people think. He's 25 now. He's turning 26 at the beginning of the season. Really good age profile, really good technician. With the likes of Conor Gallagher likely leaving, it kind of makes sense. I also think it's really intriguing that the club is already looking at people that potentially will go into... I think these two are looked at as first-team players. Maybe not first-team day one, but the ability over the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months... the course of this season to become first-team players at Chelsea. I don't believe this is just squad filler. These are players that are going to come in and challenge to be right at the top of the tree when it comes to playing in midfield for Chelsea. But look, Chelsea fans, I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on this. Very, very interesting stories indeed. Now, I want to move to Manchester United before we touch on Arsenal. That is coming up a little bit later in the show, so stay with us. Reports from Italy is that yesterday, new positive contact took place between Man United and Joshua Zirkzee's agent, with them even ever closer to an agreement on commissions. Zirkzee to Milan seems to have called, and he's moving towards United. Now, AC Milan are now pushing really hard to try and sign Lukaku, according to reports. That would suggest that they're moving away from the Zirkzee deal. Man United working on a much reduced, a far reduced rate of commission to the agent. There was talk of 12 million that AC Milan would have to pay. It's expected that Man United are going to pay somewhere in the region of around 40 to 50% less, which is in the realms of the normality. to which agents are paid in this era. I don't like the idea of paying agent fees, but everybody does it. Just every now and then they're publicised and everybody loses their minds. But yet clubs pay agent fees for nearly every single deal, every single renewal of contracts, etc., etc. It's 10 a penny and common practice. Joshua Zirkzee is an exciting profile of player for Manchester United. The question mark being, is he prolific enough? The evidence currently suggests not. But in terms of his technical ability, his ability to dribble, the way he plays, it's very different from Rasmus Højlund, which for me is perfect. I don't think we need to be buying somebody who is, even if they're better than Rasmus, plays like him. I like the idea of having two number 9s, but who are different in how they approach the game. One, that means there is the possibility they can play together. We've seen what's happened in history. Robbie Fowler and Michael Owen couldn't play together. A great example was Alan Shearer and Teddy Sheringham for England. As very different strikers combined together, it really works well. Plus, if one is starting on the bench, and there'll be various times this season where one will be on the bench and one will start, when you bring on the alternative, it's something different for the centre-backs, something different for the defence to cope with and think about, as opposed to, well, we've handled him for 65 minutes, the same's coming off the bench now, it's going to be the same approach. No. And I really like the idea of that. Zirkzee was linked to a few Premier League clubs last summer, did the research. There's a player in there. Again, a little bit like Branthwaite. I'm not looking at him and thinking this is a world-class star in the making. But it is a very talented player who I think can help elevate Man United at these early stages of this rebuild. In other news with Manchester United, and look, Reds, there's a lot of talk that Marcus Rashford could leave. PSG are considering a big money move for him again now, according to TalkSport. Now, something was said the other day that resonated deeply with me, and it was a story that Rashford is looking to repair his relationship with Ten Hag. And I could be putting 2 and 2 together here and getting 37, so bear with me. I want your views and your comments on this. That tells me that he wasn't happy with the manager last season and they had arguments. I felt there was a problem between the manager and Rashford last year, and I think it was to do with bringing in Rasmus and the wide players being told, stop shooting as much, try and create for our guy. I almost feel that Rashford is I'm not a creator, I'm a goal scorer. I want to sort of be the focal point of goals, and you brought somebody else in. And then player power kind of took over. Whether it was subconscious or whether it was done on purpose, the outcome was the same, where Rashford wasn't in the right mindset. Rashford wasn't the player that I know and love. And there's been reports that the hierarchy at Man United are flabbergasted by this and are looking to sell him on, partly to make a statement that you don't just down tools because you're being given a role in the team that you're not particularly happy with. This will not fly, regardless of your profile, your talent, your status at the football club. You will go. And the message there is brilliant, and it's exactly what Man United need to do. The good news, if this story is true, it looks like PSG are going to be coming in for him. I don't want him going to another Premier League club because I think he's going to cook when he leaves. But if these stories, again, I'm putting these stories together and going, maybe this is a scenario. I'd love to get your view and opinion on it. How much would you want from PSG? And is it right to let Rashford go now? Now, I saw this headline this morning that says, first deal announced soon as Victor Osimhen agreement emerges. And I thought, Jesus, what have I missed? What have I woken up to see this story? And the agreement element, let me be very clear from the beginning. There is an agreement, not between Arsenal and Napoli or Arsenal and Victor Osimhen right now. But there's an agreement between Napoli and the player. And Antonio Conte has confirmed this, that the club have agreed with the player to allow him to leave and sell him this summer. They are now willing to look at taking or accepting a lower offer for the player. And I do think that this is highly significant. And the reason why I say it's highly significant is because they've been asking for 115, 120, 130 million for a couple of years now, and nobody's quite bit on that. Nobody has quite gone, yet you know what, that is value for money. Arsenal are talking about offering 60 to 70 million. Maybe now we're starting to see that compromise. Now, nobody really, barring Chelsea with the free transfer of Tosin, have signed anybody yet. Mbappe and Real Madrid, but that was a deal that we all know was done months ago. In reality, it just couldn't be made official until particular dates. But no deals have actually happened yet. So I do see Arsenal fans, why haven't we signed anyone? We're not serious about trying to win the league. Nonsense. Nobody's signing anybody right now. One, I think we have to wait until June to end. PSR and all that jazz. People making sure there are books in there. Man United got a fine last year, essentially because from UEFA, because we miscalculated. It wasn't that Man United deliberately broke rules. It wasn't that Manchester United fragrantly had a disregard for them. It was, oh God, we've miscalculated some numbers. We've misinterpreted a law and we've broken a rule. So there was a small fine. UEFA confirmed this. That's a far cry, by the way, from, illegally pumping money into your football club to circumvent the rules. Not that anybody has been found guilty of that, but I'm pointing that out. So clubs, I think, are being very diligent over their money. I think after the 1st of July, I think we'll start to see a little bit more movement. But I'm really intrigued about the striker options at Arsenal. I almost feel as if, and let me put this theory out there, Arsenal are publicly distancing themselves from all strikers. Is this an attempt to get the value of these strikers lowered? Could that be the case? Do you see Osimhen becoming an Arsenal player? Let us know in the comment sections below. Gooners, United fans, Chelsea fans, whoever it may be, please stay relaxed. Very early in this transfer window, and it's a different type of window because of the international football. I think we should all know this by now. We've all been following this stuff long enough. But I want to thank you all as ever. It's humbling, the amount of you, the thousands of you that tune in each and every single day. That's the latest transfer stories as of right now. I've recorded this very early in the morning. Things could change, of course. For all the up-to-date information and stories, check out OneFootball. It's the best aggregator of sort of sports news and transfer news out there. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.